Hello, virtual educators. This is Kelly Austin. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up groups and using Blackboard course sites. And I'm going to show you how you set up the groups. If you're able to, if your university has purchased the license to actually be able to set up the group rooms, the course rooms, the virtual classroom right within your course shell, I'm going to show you that. But if your university has not, as like for example, my university has not, and you have to go to Blackboard Collaborate, they do have the license to do that. You go there, you set up the session, and then you have to actually bring the link over to your course. I'm going to show you that as well. So if this were my LTVD course, this is some of the way that the way my course is laid out. I consider these, I tell my students, I do a video, this is like a file cabinet, and these are the files within that cabinet. If they're looking for their independent work, these are the files within that cabinet. If they're looking anything pertaining to group work, which is the LTVD, these are the files within that cabinet. So if they want their group page, they're going to come here. We create the group page, remember, from going content area, we type in group page, make it available, and submit. And that's how I was able to create this group page. So when I come over here to the group page, what I want to show you is you create your group by coming here to single group, manual enroll, because you're going to add the names to the group. Now, if you decide that you want to try to let the software do it, okay, create your groups, let me show you that. You're going to come here to random enroll, okay, group set. So you're creating multiple groups based on your class roster. So if you don't want to do it the old school way, the way that I do it, where I showed you in the previous video, then you can come here, give your group a name. Okay, I'm not going to actually fill it out, but I'm just showing you this. And then when you come down here to the bottom, it's going to ask you determine number of groups. The number of group students per group. So remember I told you you only want 5. And then the number of groups. And so you know if you have 20 students that you're going to have 4 groups. Okay, and then determine how to enroll any remaining members, distribute the remaining members amongst the groups, put the remaining members in their own group, manually add the remaining members. So you decide whether if you want the software to actually put them in groups, then you keep it here where it's already set. If you want them to put the remaining members, let's say you have 23 or 24, and you want the software to create a separate group from those people that are left over, then you're going to click here and submit. Okay, so that's the way you do that. Let's see here. Let's go back to group pages. All right, when you want to create a single group, which you're going to come here to manual enroll and fill out this information. So I've already done that, so I'm going to show you that as well. I was trying to go back. There we go. All right, so group 1. All right, I'm going to click on group 1. All right, now I took the names from the document that you saw in the previous video, and these are the names of our group 1 members: Jane Jones, Road Runner, Sleeping Beauty, Coyote Williams, and Peppa Pig. Okay, so how did I do this? So I went here into edit, and I put the name of my group. And the information that I include says the following students will meet in the virtual classroom according to the date specified on the course outline. Please go to the Virtual Sessions tab to access the link for the virtual classroom assigned to this group. Now, I highlighted this. I don't normally highlight it, but I highlighted this because this is for the people, those of you who, like my university, you have to go outside of Blackboard to Blackboard Collaborate to set up your sessions, to get the link, and all of that. So if you have to do that, then this is what I put in my groups, that they let them know that they have to go here to the virtual sessions tab to get the link to actually meet with their group members. It's not going to be included at the bottom right here where it says Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Allow all group members to create and access session recordings. Do not allow student group members to create or access session recordings. Do not allow student group members to create or access session recordings. Okay. If you do it here, then they're going to be able to create their own sessions, and they're going to be able to, I wish they had that separately so that um, they could just access the recordings and not create their own sessions. But anyway, if this is not there on your course shell, then your university has not paid for this to be embedded, for Blackboard Collaborate to be embedded. So you have to go to a separate site, Blackboard Collaborate, to get your link. Okay. All right. Um, so then I come down here. Groups are expected to follow the 8 steps of the LTVD process for each session. And then I copied and pasted the names for group 1, but you can actually type them if you wanted to here. Okay, you can use bullets, you can use numbers to type the names of the people that are in the group, and then we save it. Okay, we submit. All right, now, before we submit though, let me show you this as well. Remember the file exchange that I keep talking about? I want them to be able to use that. I want them to be able to email each other. If I have access, I want them to be able to use the Blackboard Ultra. I also want them to be able to use the discussion board. If they want to post their final documents, as I have this past year, this past spring, this is being recorded in May of 2019. So this semester that just went by, I actually had the students to post their reflection form, post their minutes on the file exchange, but I actually had them suggested to them that they put the final drafts of their documents, the final, like the editor's template, the final draft, on the discussion board so that it was in a separate place. And so it was easy for them to access, easy for the publisher to find without having to go through all the multiple documents on the file exchange. So I made the discussion board available to them for the first time this year, and that seemed to be a really good system. Okay, so any final drafts, they put it on the discussion board that's just for their group, and it's separated from all the other noise that's on the file exchange. They don't need a journal. They don't need any of these other things. Okay. If you are a wiki person and you like wikis better, you can also make the wiki available to them here. All right. So that's how you fill in that information to set up the group, and you press submit. Okay. So that's group 1. Now, group 2, I wanted to show you how you can even differentiate in this way, where you could go in here. You can do tables if you want to. Just wanted to show you different ways that you can do it. This one says the following students will meet in the virtual classroom according to the date specified on the course outline. Groups are expected to follow the 8 steps of the LTVD process for each session. And then down here, I said click the collaborate link below to enter the course room for the group. Or if you don't want to call it the course room, I just like virtual classroom. I just like that, you know. But I believe, oh, I think I put course room because that's what it's called down here. We'll see in just a second. So whatever verbiage that you use, you want to make it, you know, unified and constant and consistent. So if you say virtual classroom, then use that all the time. If you say course room, use that all the time so your students aren't confused. Let's look at it. So it doesn't say, it just says collaborate. So I can call it my virtual classroom. Yay! Okay, so you see here where they have access to collaborate, they have access to the file exchange, and they can send each other email. I can go back into this group, and I can give them access to the discussion board as I just mentioned, and I'm going to submit here. Okay, so let's see how this looks to them. I'm going to take the edit mode off. All right. So this is how it looks to the students. Now, of course, I won't have these. I'll decide on either I'm going to use the listing or the little tables, but it's going to look like this to them. Okay. And so this is the student view. Okay. And then they'll be able to click on whatever group they're in. They'll be able to click on that group. They're in group one. They'll be able to click on it and access all of this. So that's how you set up your groups. Now, if your university requires that you go out to Blackboard Collaborate and you have to place the links inside your course, this is what you do. I created a tab called Virtual Sessions right here. And let's go back to our mode so we can see everything. All right, so I have virtual sessions right up under group pages where they come here. So I create a folder for each one. So this is the main room. This is where we meet as a whole class. Okay. If I'm doing some kind of activity with the class, if I'm doing a lecture, if you're meeting with your whole class, I have the main room here. If group one wants to access their session, okay, because it's not included within the course shell by my university, they go to group one, and then I have here, click here to enter the virtual classroom for group one. How did I do that? Let me show you. All right, so edit. Okay, so you type that information in here. When you go over to Blackboard Collaborate and you get the link from after you create the session, and that's a separate video. I don't want this video to go on and on, but when you create the session from Blackboard Collaborate, you copy and paste the link, and Blackboard Collaborate is going to email you the link. It's going to email you the call-in number, the participant PIN number, and everything. So once you get that link, you can take it directly from them or go to your email. You're going to paste that link in here. Okay, and then I just simply put click here to enter the virtual classroom for group one. All right, then down here in this part in the description, I also put the link because sometimes for whatever reason, for whatever, what's going on with people's computers, they may click here and something foul happens and they can't get into the session. So that's one of the things that I'll probably cover again when I talk about the things to avoid when dealing with technology with synchronous discussions. So you always have a backup plan. So here I like for this to move up. Yes. Here I have click above to join the virtual session or copy and paste this link into your browser. So they can copy this link, and that's the link that's in here, and they can paste it into their Google Chrome or their Internet Explorer or their Mozilla Firefox or whatever they're using to enter the virtual classroom, okay? So they can take this link and just copy it and put it up here in their browser to enter the session. I provide for them the call-in number and the participant PIN so that they might use their phone as their microphone if they don't have their headsets or if they don't have a built-in, which is hard to believe in the 21st century, but if for some reason their built-in microphone, webcam, audio system is not working with their computer, then they can call in and they can put in this PIN number and they can speak to the group through their phone, and they can also listen to the group through their phone. Now I put here you may use, this should say you may use, let's fix that, the conference call line as your microphone or to access the session when you're not in front of your computer. This is another backup plan for students who may have some kind of issue. So say, for example, I have a lot of students because I teach early child education who may work at a daycare and they may not get off until 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and we log in, we actually start at 6:30. So for those students, they might let me know, Miss Austin, I'm on my way home, but I'm in traffic or whatever. They can call in and still be counted present because remember, for my courses, they have to be present 90 minutes of the session or 90% of the session to actually be counted present, okay? They can't come in and leave and all this kind of funny stuff, or come in really late and still get credit for being present. So, and we'll talk about that in another module about how to hold them accountable for class participation. But if they're in their car, if they're in still at work for some reason, waiting for somebody to pick up their child, they can actually call in, have it on mute, and let their group know, hey, I'm in here, I'm in the session, I'm listening, or I'm in traffic, and I will be in front of my computer soon, or whatever they want to say to their group. It's their little intimate group. It's not in everybody, the whole class's business, but they can let their group members know what's going on, because the reporter, remember, is making note of who's tardy. So they can let people know what's going on. And that also helps them with group dynamics, being accountable, letting people know what's going on with you. Then the group members can know if they need to substitute that person's role. Let's say that person's the whiteboard tech and they're in their car. Well, obviously they can't pull up the editor's template when they're in their car, so somebody needs to do it for them. Okay? So this is what you do to set up the group access to the virtual classroom if they're not able to access it directly from their group page. So let's look again. This is their group page. If it's set up, if your university has paid for Blackboard Collaborate to be embedded into the course, they simply have to click right here to get into the virtual classroom. Let me show you. Demonstration. So this is the group room, and they're just going to join the room. Okay, so let's check it out. Okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I'm the only one in the room. The room is empty. Okay, all right, so this is how they are going to enter it if this is included um in your by your university on your course shell. Uh-oh, it looks like you're having trouble connecting. Try connecting to the session. So we click reconnect, but you get the point where you can see how they access it. But if not, if that's not the case, if your university hasn't paid for that, you're going to have to create virtual sessions tab, okay? And you're going to create folders for each group so that they can access their session by clicking the link, and they can also call in. Okay, now I would encourage you, now that I'm thinking about that, when you do this one, you still need to put the call-in information here. Okay, you need to put the conference call number and the PIN number inside this box as well, in case there's some issue with them being able to get into the virtual classroom. Okay, all right, so I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the comment box, or head over to Facebook to ask the question where other people can see it and it may benefit them as well. I will see you in the next video.